I'm all over the internet because of this job, and I hate feeling so exposed and out there, and that's why I love Delete Me. They help me take control of my digital privacy so I can be peaceful and not paranoid when I'm online and offline. For 20% off an annual plan, go to joindeleteme.com/Delony.
How can I effectively praise the positive qualities in my 17-year-old son, who is struggling with addiction, despite the challenges his behavior has caused in my life, my deep concerns for his future, and definitely anger that I am holding?
Yeah. Man, I just last night, I was at dinner. It was just me and my son. We went to grab some Mexican food at a tiny little place here in Nashville, literally a hole in the wall. And he asked me what's been bothering me. And I said, it's becoming increasingly clear that I can control what comes in and out of my home, but that he's heading into a world that is just has no brakes.
Yeah.
And that he's going to have to make choices. And it scares me.
And I think that I thought I could control what was coming in and out of my home, and exactly. I've gotten a different lesson.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing for us. It's been a really challenging 4 or 5 years. And my son does have ADHD and anxiety and major depressive disorder. And all the way back to 4th grade, he said that, what people see on the outside is not how he feels on the inside.
Yeah. So addiction for him is, this is going to sound crazy, okay, so go with me, but addiction, what's his drug of choice?
Mostly marijuana, but it's increased to other types of experiments.
Okay, so marijuana, by and large, has been the solution to his problems. And he wouldn't keep doing it if at some level it didn't work. And the most harrowing thing when I've talked to parents whose children are struggling with some sort of addiction is that the thing both is working and it will kill my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been my experience, and you can tell me if this doesn't ring true, that underneath everything, when a parent is trying to make the next right decision especially for a late teenager who's about to head into adulthood, about to leave the house, right? Do whatever they want.
Right.
Is a sense of, what did I do?
Very much.
Like a sense of shame that's really heavy.
Yeah, it's really heavy because my husband and I we've never, I've never even had a cigarette.
Yeah.
So
it's not about
model that behavior.
But it's not about that, though. It's not about that behavior, because the behavior is a solution to
Yeah. And where we are now, he's had continued therapy. He's had medication management. He's done different programs. He's had long stretches of positive sobriety.
Awesome.
And things took a pretty bad turn this last March, where he started using again after not using for a very long time, a good 9 months.
Was there a triggering event in March?
No, he kind of got his hands on it over Christmas break because he was bored. He doesn't do this socially. He only does it solo, total solitary thing. He even asked at that time in January to go to an inpatient, not an inpatient, but an intensive outpatient program. And that didn't solve it for him. And he sort of slid into more suicidal ideology. He had to go to an inpatient hospitalization program in March, and then led into a successful residential rehab program. But over the last 4 or 5 years, things that I would never thought he would have done, he has done. I live in a house that I never thought I would live in, as much as we put all the protective factors we could think of in place. All of our medication is locked. I lock my keys. I lock on my wallet. He has no access to money. We've locked our spray paint so he can't get high on that. And I know that from the books that I've read, the family therapy that we've done, what he is saying to us, which is, why can't you guys ever see the good? You're living in the past.
Sure.
And we don't trust him. There's no part of us that would be even rational to trust him. That said, we take leaps of faith all the time, realizing that it is his choice, that he is going to have to do the work, that he can't prove himself unless we let him prove himself.
But when you say leaps of faith, give me an example.
Leaps of faith. Hey, I'd like to, take the train to go see my friends. Okay, we'll let you take the train because he doesn't drive because we're not going to let him get a license.
Yeah. So can I flip this around a little bit? Because everybody gets stuck in a dance.
Mm-hmm.
It happens in marriages. It happens with students and teachers. It happens with parents and kids. All of us all get stuck in a dance. We get stuck in our dance with our bosses, right?
Mm-hmm.
He lives in a failure factory that's inside of his own skin, right? And because you love him and want to keep him safe, you take away the sharp edges of the world so that he won't literally trip and fall on them.
Yeah.
And that's the right thing to do. And that also tells his exterior that he lives in a failure factory out there too. And it builds and it builds and it builds. And then he says, can I take a train? And y'all are like, yep. And then it explodes. And I don't know how I've never been able to figure this out, but it's amazing. Not if you've smoked weed a couple of times, but if you're a regular user, you can walk into a room and look across that room of 200 people and go, there's one, there's one, there's one. Coke folks are the best. They're unbelievable at it. They walk into a room and go, that dude's got it, and that dude's got it, and they're always right. It's astonishing to me, but it just is what it is. And so then the external world, when he fails, over Christmas break, he gets really bored and is with a buddy, and he takes the train. He's doing it all by himself, and he's proving to himself, and then he gets a whole bunch of weed and goes home and hides it, and he white knuckles it from the end of January into February, and it's dark and cold and miserable and lonely. Then he proves to himself that he's a failure. And that triggers that entire cascade of, I shouldn't be here, I'll never be able to do this, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the thing. Y'all are trapped because you have to do those things. You have to keep money away from him for his sanity, for his safety. And you have to keep drugs away from him. The best you can, right? As good as you can. Here's a couple of things I would put on the table as potential, called little wins. But little wins that are going to mean a humongous deal to his nervous system. Is that cool?
Okay.
You don't have to do this, and you're going to have to, this is the hard part, as the adult, you're going to have to say, I'm really pissed off, I'm really deeply angry, and I've got shame circulating through my bloodstream that few parents can fully grasp how thick that is, how much it hurts, right? And then what's the next right thing? So the first thing is constantly be looking for not actions, but efforts to praise.
Okay.
The phrase, I see you, followed by worked really hard, tried so hard, really gritted it out. I saw, you're always praising effort so that his identity doesn't get wrapped up in the next action, because as a kid who's known since 4th grade, his body doesn't feel the way reality actually is. He knows that he's untrustworthy when it comes to the next right action. So we're going to praise effort all the time. The second thing is this. What if you gave him a job like this? Hey, honey, I need to borrow your nervous system. Will you do mom a favor and let's watch an old rerun of The Office, and I want you to hold my hand for the whole episode, please?
Okay.
And what you're doing is you're giving him a job that he 100% can be successful at. And he's doing something for you. And by the way, he carries tremendous guilt for you guys too. He just doesn't know how to carry it. And it's a tiny little, hey, son, this is a crazy thing. This is your husband saying, like, son, will you come help me with this thing? I can't do this without you. It would mean the world to me if you would help me out. Dad, I don't want to. I know. This isn't for you. This is for me. And what we're doing is we're giving him tiny wins on an action he's taking. But here's the important thing. Those actions are relational in nature.
Okay.
They're not drive across town on a train and hopefully you make a good decision. You still got to let him do that. He's about to be 18. He's going to get on whatever train he wants to.
Correct.
But I want him to feel how good it is when he's in the business of serving somebody else. And if at the end of the Office episode or whatever your show y'all watch in your house, whatever, at the end of that, if you'll look at him and say, your old mama really needed that. Thank you for loving me. Send him on.
Okay.
That gives him, he will feel a sense of electricity through his body that he's probably never felt or hadn't felt in years. Because he doesn't know how to win relationally, he doesn't know how to win action-wise, and he doesn't know how to win substance-wise.
Okay.
And so let's give him a bunch of tiny relationship wins.
Yeah, it's you know, he's said this to me before too, where he's like, you keep saying it's going to get better and it never gets better. And I said, you know, you're like the worst juxtaposition of your life. You're 17, you got all these hormones, you got all this stuff, he has all this angst, plus you've got all these other challenges on top of it. And so it's really difficult. It just depends on which version you're getting that day.
That's right. That's right.
And the other thing is that it's exhausting to live there.
It is it's so, yes. And can I just give you permission as a mom? I know you have this, like, you're in a guilt shame spiral that's so powerful. You don't want to even go to your own house.
Yeah.
You don't like the house you live in. And then there's that, like, oh, if you were a real mom, you would love. Listen, those voices are nonsense and they're wrong. It's right to be scared to go into your own house when you're with a 17-year-old that you're worried every time you open the doors, you're going to be alive. You're not crazy and there's not something wrong with you, okay?
Okay. Yeah. And I've heard you talk about that picture that you thought you were going to have.
Yeah.
And to grieve that. And I just feel like I have to keep grieving the next picture over and over and over again. And
so
days are okay.
What if you set the paintbrush down for a bit?
Okay.
Because that picture puts a ton of pressure on you and on him, and he's not in a place to carry any pressure. And honestly, you're not either right now. And so I want you also, by the way, you doing something like, hey, will you hold my hand while we watch a show?
Mm-hmm.
Honey, I'm going to pay you $10. Will you come rub my shoulders? You're going to give me $10? I am. You can't use it on drugs because that's weird because you're rubbing your mom's shoulders, but I need a shoulder rub.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give him some tiny, tiny little wins that are relational and touch-centric and whatever. And he may say no.
Okay. Yeah.
And you have to decide that's not an indictment of you. It's just the version of him you got that day. That's fine.
Yep.
And
yes,
then
I've done a lot of growth in that area.
There you go. Perfect.
I've done a lot of growth in that area of not taking things personally.
I took it personal when my 1-year-old didn't want me to hug. Like, so I'm there with you. I get it. But I'm going to come back the next day. Hey, will you please help your mom out? Your old mom needs to hold your hand. I need you to borrow your nervous system because you make me feel calm. Really? Yes. Would you love your old mom like that? Fine. Ugh.
Okay.
And all the eye rolls and all the I don't want to. Mom, it makes me anxious. I know, just for me. And if you're a safe person, both of you win there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know when he needs it too. I mean, he's giant and yet he, when he's having a good day or sometimes even when he's not having a good day, like he'll come into my room, he'll climb into my bed. He still wants a hug.
That's right.
And then there's other days where it's all your fault. And
of course,
I can't say anything right. And I'm doing it wrong again.
But can I give you an outlet on that?
Yeah.
If you'll look at him and say, hold on one second. And you pull out your watch, not your phone, but your watch and say, all right, you got 5 minutes. I understand that you think I'm the worst. I want to hear it. You got 5 minutes. Go. What it will do, it will begin to put a boundary on it. And what he needs to know is when he has these humongous, powerful feelings that few people in the world can understand if you don't struggle with addiction. They're so powerful that he can begin to get control over them. And so when you say, all right, you got 5 minutes to rip me apart, go. I don't want it. No. I'm the worst. I get it. You get 5 minutes, go.
Yep.
And let him just rip. And then at 5 minutes, you'll be able to go, okay, time's up. And he'll stop. He will, won't he?
He will. And the other thing that's really sort of maddening is that it's the inconsistency of sometimes he'll come to you and he'll either tell you something he's thinking of doing or that he has done, but he hasn't fully transacted it yet. So he allows us to be part of it. And then the other stance is like, I have to do this on my own. I'm doing it on my own. It's my decision. You don't help me. The words you use don't help.
Sure.
There have been times where I can't tell you how many times, Dr. John, he's come to me at 10, 11, 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're having these feelings, we're having these thoughts, and we take a walk. I cannot tell you how many times I have walked at 1, 2, whatever in the morning. But then there's these periods of time where he won't.
Yeah.
And again, I guess I just need to take this down to much tinier.
Well, here's the thing. If you wait for him to come for your help, it will come intermittently.
Right. Okay.
If you go to him and say, I need you,
okay,
what he's going to get in very micro doses is a purpose, a sense of value that he doesn't have. And the fact that he shows up every once in a while at 1 a.m. is the most annoying thing in the world for a mom who's exhausted trying to get some sleep, but also that means he knows deep down you're safe. And you'll go for a walk with him. He knows that. And sometimes he has to override that impulse to come talk to you and do the next thing that might get him hurt.
Yeah.
And so by the way, you doing micro things like that, hey, will you help me with dinner? I need you to hold this for me while I cut this thing or what. If you give him a couple of it's not going to heal this whole thing.
Right.
But it will begin, his body will, my prediction is, maybe way out to lunch, that it will go, that feels so good. And then he'll fight that, and he'll be like, I'm not helping you, because even feeling good is a way that it feels foreign. There's part of him that doesn't want to feel good. And I know that sounds bananas, but if you've never worked with folks with addiction, that doesn't make any sense, but it does. But it's constantly showing up and saying, no, I need your help. I see value in you. I see a little purpose here in you. Can you help me with this? Hey, you're big and tall. I need you to help me undo these jars. I don't want it. I know. And it's slow. And of course, be there when he knocks on the door at 1 a.m. It's maddening. But those are magic moments. You're a great mom, Sarah. Hang in there.